Hello, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of Hasu Hour. We've got a special episode tonight. I'm joined by fellow shoutcaster.
Hey, I'm Rack City.
The matchup today is Terran versus Protoss, with MarineLord spawning in the bottom right and Liquid Mana spawning in the top left. The map is Prion Terrace. It's a two-player map with a short distance between the mains and a defendable natural expo with an exposed gold second nat. It's a fairly expo heavy for such a small map.
Yeah, the third is a gold base as well as the fourth. So what a lot of people will do is they'll do a fast expand and they'll put their second on the gold, and they'll have a lot of good income. So that makes fast expanding good on this map, but at the same time, like really early harass is good on this map. And we see Mana right here. He's scouting around for a proxy barracks because he doesn't want to get hit by a 3-Rex Reaper since he's going to be doing a fast expand right now. And at the same time,
what do you think about this pylon placement that Mana's chosen at his main?
I think it's really interesting. I think it's good because it can defend drops later on in the game, and MarineLord likes to do a lot of Reaper pressure, and as we see now, he's making a Reaper, so this can help defend against Reapers with Photon Overcharge, which is very strong. Alright, MarineLord's going fast expand. It's pretty standard right now.
Liquid Mana also opting for the fast expand. So we're seeing sort of passive play on both sides. Now, what do you think the best strategic options are for Protoss in this situation heading into the mid game after both players have fast expanded?
Well, I think mid-game Terran is really strong, so what a lot of Protosses will do is try to cripple their economy early with the 2-gate added push. But right here we see Mana Chrono boosting out a Stalker pretty early for, I believe this is for Reaper pressure. What do you think the Terran has to do to take advantage of the Reapers and transition into the mid-game?
Well, he wants to stay aggressive. You want to do some damage. The Reaper's a very nice harass unit, although it doesn't usually stand up in one-on-one combat. It's also got a kind of neat thing. I think this is new to Legacy of the Void, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's got a very quick heal early on after it's damaged.
The heal is, I think it was from Heart of the Swarm, but the grenade is a new thing in Legacy of the Void.
Yeah, the grenade is great. Basically, it does sort of small damage, something, I don't know, 10, 15 hit points, but it knocks units, basically sends them flying for an inch or so. And if you get a few Reapers in their base early on, you can actually do substantial damage, even though a single Reaper takes 6 hits to kill a worker.
Alright, well we see this Reaper dying right here, but he scouted the Twilight Council, and he also scouted the robotics facility. What do you think Mana's going to open up with here? I think maybe a Blink Stalker plus, maybe a Blink Stalker push. What do you think could be coming out of the Robo?
Blink Stalker sounds reasonable. The Robo, probably he wants observers so that he has that ultimate scouting. Take a look here at MarineLord's build. You see a fairly tech-heavy build, only a single barracks and medevac, of course, produced. And it looks like we're going to see a little drop harass as he loads up the shuttle and heads for the relatively undefended natural.
Luckily for Mana, he's got an observer out already, so maybe he'll scout this drop before it comes, and even if he doesn't, he'll be able to get that Widowmine, but it looks like the observer's moving out. And does Mana see this drop coming? No, he doesn't. It's going to take him by surprise. But he's got a Stalker in position.
We've got a payload of 6 Marines and 1 Widowmine, and look at this control. This is just phenomenal. Absolutely stellar micro. Very, very little damage being done. Only a single Marine has been lost so far, and this Widow Mine is just phenomenal in the attack.
Yeah, this Widow Mine will continue to kill probes, and there's no observer out yet.
Photon Overcharge is sending... Oh, and the medevac goes down at the last second.
Oh, and the Widow Mine gets a shot on the Mothership Core, but the Mothership Core will survive.
Down to 25 hit points.
The Observer's going to come out and he's going to clean up this Widow Mine, but I believe that dropped it a lot of damage.
A Liberator joining the attack, but again, that Photon Overcharge just really, really strong, like you were saying. Some people have complained about imbalance. Do you think the Photon Overcharge is imbalanced, or is it just part of the Protoss arsenal?
I think Photon Overcharge right now is in a weird spot because a lot of Protoss players have figured out that it can be used aggressively in pylon rushes and things like that, and that's a really strong way to cripple an economy of Terran. But right now, in the early game, it makes it so you can't approach the Protoss at all. But in the mid game, I think it's necessary against things like this Liberator pushes and drops. Especially later into the mid-game when the Terran will have multiple drops going at the same time. It's very difficult for the Protoss to hold without Photon Overcharge. Especially in PvP.
It loses a bit of its power towards the mid and late game when you've got multiple bases to defend. It's a very slow unit, the Mothership Core.
Indeed.
Check out this observer placement. Really critical, I think, to have this sort of watch of the opponent's base. Now, what is Liquid Mana doing with this Stalker placement? What is his intent here? Is he trying to prevent expansion and scouting, or is he setting up a counter? What is he doing?
Well, while he's moving, Mana is looking really for a hole that's open. Waiting for a hole to open up for him to blink into the main and try and get a lot of tech units out.
Right.
And production done, but he positioned himself by the gold to try and kill an expansion. But MarineLord decided he was going to move out, and that forced the Stalkers back, and MarineLord is able to safely take this third.
And it was really critical for him to take the third because Protoss has already established and saturated mined his third gold. So MarineLord basically had two options, which was to try to end it with a push or to take his third base. And it looks like he's actually going for both of those options right now.
Yeah, MarineLord is looking to do significant damage to Mana's third base right now. But Mana has an army moving down the center of the map. Let's see how this engagement goes.
Check it out at the Terran main. Adept Warpin devastating
all of these SCVs. And MarineLord's pulling the SCVs, but the force fields are so good, he's going to lose all of those workers. That's 28 workers are gone so far, and that's not even the end of it.
It looks like we're in a classic base race scenario as the Protoss enters the Terran's main and the Terran enters the Protoss main. Who do you think is going to win right now?
Well, right now it looks like the Mana's pulling back. He's going to try and deal with MarineLord's push, and MarineLord's tanks are very out of position, but now he's finally getting them. Oh, and Mana might be able to catch these off guard, and it looks like he's going to get one at least, maybe two. If MarineLord doesn't notice this, MarineLord pulls his Marines back, but not before Mana gets a tank of his own. And after 53 SCVs, MarineLord's finally taking some probes down.
We got a little Liberator support for the advanced Terran army. Disruptor coming out, but it's not going to be able to cast its massive damage purification Nova.
That Disruptor could have done a lot to those siege tanks. But
absolutely. But the thing about the Disruptor is if it dies before the purification Nova is fully cast, then that spell is removed. It doesn't actually land. So
yeah, it dissipates.
And it looks like MarineLord has this game. He's got the Protoss main, and his main is intact. So I think the game, it it's got to be over at this point. I mean, surely.
Yeah, MarineLord is really doing a lot to Mana's production right now, but Mana looks like he's going to get all of these siege tanks, which is going to be big. But these Liberators are here, they're doing so much to stop any of Mana's units from coming to reinforce, and now even though MarineLord's Marine army is restricted to 5 lonely Marines, like, Mana can't even send in those adepts to help him. And those adepts with resonating glaives can do a lot to these Marines, but now the Liberators are moved, which allows Mana to send in the reinforcements. Mana took significant economic damage, but MarineLord lost over 50 SCVs.
Look at his struggling economy. He's got 3 bases, but he's got no SCVs. He's got 2 SCVs at his natural, no SCVs at his third. So this is really a nascent eco situation, and these barracks are going completely to waste. Actually, he's got full production, amazingly, at 5 barracks, but I guess
MarineLord right now, he's dropped a bunch of mules on the gold, and he's relying on those to give him production for the next 90 seconds or so.
That's right, and he's ahead by about 800, 1,200 mineral production right now, but dramatic difference in the supply count. So it looks like actually this game might still be on. It's not clear entirely who's winning. Look at the supply count, 70 to 76. This is still very close.
Yeah, and right now Mana has 34 probes to MarineLord's 26 SCVs. We're going for a fight in the middle of the map. Right now, great force fields by the sentries, and he's going to cut off a lot of the army. I don't think there's a clear winner to this fight. Mana will be forced to pull back, as his army isn't big enough to deal with any reinforcements that might come out.
Absolutely, that was quite ambiguous as to who got the best. Whether but Mana made a strategic retreat, and the game continues.
What do you think is the core of Mana's composition right now?
What do you mean?
What part of Mana's army right now do you think is the most important? I think the Immortals are going to help him a great deal against MarineLord's Marauders. MarineLord is just getting concussive shells right now. And
right,
those are going to be very good against the Stalkers and Adepts.
The concussive shell is just it's very annoying to deal with when you're the recipient of it, because as you try to micro away, you're sort of held in place. We've got an attack here. M. Oh, and it's looking like he's going to drop the main again. This poor undefended main. 3 dropships with their payload. And,
Mana's moving the mothership core in place. He scouted it, and the Stalkers are coming in too. There's a photon overcharge on that pylon right there. MarineLord is going to try and snipe it, and he does. That takes out 2 gateways.
That was really critical. There was about 4 or 5 units warping in there that were sent back to Ire because that pylon was taken out.
Exactly, and those 2 gateways were now inactive, so he can't use those to warp in for a while until a pylon is made, and at the same time we see an attack at the third of Mana as well, and that Nexus is going to die.
And this Liberator support has been a frequent theme throughout this game, really limiting Mana's ability to confront the Terran attacks. And another drop on the main, a pylon goes down, but the forces are not sufficient, and he's kicked out by the fledgling Protoss army. Look at the supply edge, though, that MarineLord has achieved at this point, a 47 supply count advantage. I think that's really the death knell for Liquid Mana.
Mana's taking the safe third, and he's going to try and do a final attack, but I think MarineLord's defenses are going to be too much for him to overcome. Got an observer on the army, so he knows where it is. Looks like he's going to try and scout a 4th.
Who do you think got the superior composition with regards to their opponent's troops? Not taking it into account number of troops, but just the composition itself.
Right now, Mana has a lot of Immortals, which could really help him in this fight, as MarineLord's army does not have many Marines. It is mostly Marauders, and there are a lot of siege tanks and Liberators, so it would be hard for him to counter the Marines. But I don't think you can easily ignore the size of the armies. MarineLord could easily overpower Mana's army right now.
Right. He could probably at this point just 1A and go. The Immortal's a great unit for taking on the siege tank because of its shield ability. It takes only limited damage from heavy attack units.
And it also does extra damage against armored units, which would make it really good for fighting those Marauders and the siege tanks. We see MarineLord stimming forward. Mana's making a dark shrine behind this. Do you think that will be much help?
I think it's too late in the game. MarineLord's got 3 orbital commands, so he's pretty much going to be able to scan. And what was he doing with the adept there? That was a scouting maneuver just to see precisely what was going on?
He's looking to see the placement of MarineLord's army right now and how many static defenses there are, such as tanks and Liberators. And now MarineLord's moving forward, but he's keeping the tanks sieged. Mana thinks there's an opportunity as Liberators are getting put into defense mode, but MarineLord's Marines and Marauders come in. Even though all the Liberators are dying, all of the Immortals are dying off as well. And right now, Mana only has 0 Immortals, and he GG's out.
Well, that was a great game. Thank you all for watching, and I'd like to thank, sorry, what was your name again?
Rex City.
I'd like to thank Rex City for joining me on the showcast.
Thank you very much for the opportunity as well.
All right, we're off air. That was good. I think that went well. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and it was nice. It wasn't, I guess, 17-minute game. It's got to be somewhat balanced, but it wasn't too one-sided until right to the end. So there was some nice suspense there. Totally. Yeah, that'd be great. I think it's a lot better having the second voice or even like a third would be good too, right? You get maybe one guy is an expert on the one race, the other guy's the expert on the other race, and then one person's sort of like a moderator, something like that. I'll have to check that out. Home Story Cup? Oh, nice. Cool. All right. Well, I'll post the video once it's up, and yeah, we'll do it again soon. Peace.